Welcome to Thank God You're Not My Child. Yes, it's a comedy podcast where I talk about whatever I want to. Okay, well, this week we're going to talk about letters that have been sent in to me. Yes, okay, at the email, Thank God You're Not My Child podcast at yahoo.com. Well, that is where Amber from Indiana sent her story. Yes, it's a funny story, so let's go. So Amber cleaned her cars out every Sunday. Okay, if you can say you clean your cars out once a week, you're on a list of short people. Okay, I'm just saying. We'll just talk about that. But they're cleaning their car out. And there wasn't a whole lot in it, but kids' toys, trash, when you're going back and forth to school, you know. So her son that's 7 walks up and goes, "Mom, is this hot pink bra, is that yours?" And of course she was extremely embarrassed. And she just told him, "Oh, must have just slipped off." Yeah, we know what happened. We know how it got in that van. Do you need me to tell you how it got in that van? Let's just think about, how did her hot pink bra accidentally slip off in the car? Okay, we're not going to talk about that. But anyway, Amber, you go, girl. Anyway, so no big deal. They get the car cleaned out. It's good. They go inside. She didn't think anything else about it because you know what? Things got put in the dirty clothes because there was a few out there. Trash got trashed. Toys got put up. Everything was good until Wednesday. Wednesday, she gets a phone call from the teacher. They had show and tell. She did not know about this said show and tell. Well, her little precious son took that hot pink bra to show and tell because he thought it was a unique one because it just slides off my mama every time she's in the van. Okay, let's just take a pause for that. If you're a teacher, you know damn well how hard you're going to laugh at that. You know, right? Oh my gosh. All I can tell you is show and tell people, teachers, if you haven't show and tell, you've seen these stories with, the little rubber dildos. We'll just say it. It's explicit. You've seen those about the vibrators at school, all of those sexual fun things. And if you're a parent, you've probably had something maybe found wrong. So if your bra is in the van and your son says, "Oh, look, Mom, is this your hot pink bra?" You might want to make sure that's in the laundry, because everybody now at school knows, as Amber said, they all know that she wears a 38 DoubleD. You know why? Because her glorious son showed and tell that. So yeah. Well, thank you, Amber. I think I'll get better at telling the stories because I know my reading's not better. So anyway, now we're going to go to Texas to a Miss Rachel. And she said that when her boys were little, they really liked jumping from sofa to sofa. Or actually, I would call it sofa to love seat, I think is what she said. And she would constantly tell those boys, "You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself," because that's what you do as moms, right? You know it, or that's what we do. So therefore, it went on for a few years, and she constantly got onto them. And they were like 5 and 6, and she still caught them doing it. And they're getting louder. We're talking Superman type of jumping on the couch, off the couch. And just, some people would say they're being boys, but they're just being kids. But they know they're not supposed to, but they're doing it. Okay? Well, their dad thinks it's cute. They're not going to, really, what are they going to hurt? The worst they're going to do is maybe She says the worst Dad says is maybe what, a broken arm, something, maybe a bloody mouth. I mean, come on, just let them be kids, let them be boys. And she said at one time that one of the things he'd say to her, in front of the boys, of course, let them have the damn nuts. Let them get the cojones to do things. You know how men can be that are just, first of all, that dad should be backing you up. Rachel, that dad should be backing you up. So if he knows you sent it in, you need to tell him that Donna Kay over here is telling him you back the mama up always. If you don't agree with her, you can talk to her in private. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But where this gets, it is kind of funny, but also, holy hell. So they're getting too loud one day, and their dad walks in from work, and she tells Dad, I've asked him not to jump on the sofa. They're doing it, they're back and forth, and he's on his, they're just boys. Let them be just boys. And I say it like that because at the end of the story, you will see why. So he goes up, she says, big fights they had for about a month, and she just gave up and thought, really, what's the worst that can happen? A broken leg, maybe? And she's like, Dad says they're fine. So you know what? I'm just going to not say anything. And, I think that's a good thing sometimes. So she said it went on all day long, and the kids just thought they were getting away with stuff. She did her stuff. She had dinner fixing. She had her laundry going, and it was a very good day at home. Yes, they thought it was funny. They could get away with it. So Dad comes in, and he sits down in the little chair there that's beside and between the love seat and the sofa, if you know what I mean. And the boys are just laughing, and she's in there getting the dinner set, and of course, her blood's boiling, because when you tell them not to do something, but the other parent thinks they can, and it goes on for this long, holy shit. Can you imagine? Yeah, I know. I'm not drinking, but we need to be drinking right now. You know what I mean? Where this one turns to where it was not funny, but yet at the end and afterwards, once Dad was healed up, it's kind of funny, because you know what? He should have backed Mom up. That's what he should have did. Well, the boys are really getting rough, and Dad says, okay, you guys, you need to settle down. And I guess one of the kids said, you said we could do it, Daddy-O. I doubt they use Daddy-O. Daddy-O's my, I go my dad. Daddy-O. 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 That's my daddy. Daddy-O. Anyway, Father's Day is this coming week, and maybe he'll answer his phone this week. It could happen. Anyway, we're going to go back to, Rachel gave me her name, but she sure didn't give me her husband's name. Didn't give me the kid's name. I'm not even for sure. Rachel's all I got. I got no last name. You know why? Because one of those boys landed on their dad. That knee can hurt that junk. You know what I mean? And when it was all said and done, he ended up losing a whole testicle because the knee destroyed it. Because you know what he said his boys could do? What Mom said he couldn't. You know what I mean? If Dad had backed Mom up, he'd have been a two-nut man. He'd still been a two-nut man. You know what a two-nut man is? Not him! That's probably why she did not give her last name. Because, they're in Texas. I know where they're from, but that's even a small town. And if I said it, and it said Amber, and said he was in the hospital and had surgery last year, somebody might know, hey, I think that's Fred over there, and I think he's one bald Fred now. Just because his wife's name is Amber. So yeah, email those stories in. You never know what people are going to find out. Okay, this email came in just titled Uncle Scotty. That's all I know, Uncle Scotty. She says that her brother was born when she was 10 years old. And that made things a little difficult. They weren't really close at all. And by the time he was 4, she was 14, because I can do math. He was a brat. He was just a fucking brat. And I mean, not your average brat, because siblings can be brats. He was like your frogs in the bed, snakes in the hair rollers, because she did mention that when she was little. She opened her hair rollers up and there was a snake in it, and that's a brother. So she put up with this her whole life. Graduated high school, graduated college, got married, and she still had a brother 10 years younger than her. And he was always going to be her little brat brother. I have one. I have more than one. You know what I mean? Yeah, I bet you have one. You might have a little sister too. I might too, if you know what I mean. Okay, so back to the story. So they had a swimming pool. And the one thing that Scotty liked to do was he liked to push anybody he could, whether they were dressed, whether they had earphones, whether they had a phone, no matter what. He liked to push them in the pool. Now, let's just remember, he was old enough to know better now. He's only 10 years younger than her. Scotty is, because that's the only name she gave me. Let's go ahead and name her Sissy. Sissy was 10 years older than Scotty, and Scotty was a brat. And she says they lost count of how many people he pushed in, and they talked to him, and him being almost 20, he should fucking know. You know what I mean? He should fucking know. But, you know, sometimes until something happens to them that's bad enough, they just don't really listen. So this brat brother of hers, Scotty, pushed somebody in the pool. And thank goodness it was just someone that was just clothed. They went in. She got him some change, a towel, and the whole bit. And she was upset at Scotty, and she got onto him. And he said, well, that's it. I'm just going to go get in the pool, and I don't have to push anybody in if I get in the pool. You know what I mean? Because if you're in the pool, well, you know what? I wouldn't reach for Scotty if he was in the pool, because Scotty's pushing people in. He'll pull people in. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. So he goes outside, and, you know, Scotty probably should have paid more attention to who was in the pool and what people were doing around the pool, because he was just mad that he got in trouble because it was funny. It was funny, Sissy, it was funny. That's what Scotty thought. Well, 2 of those little brat boys thought they would, you know, the littler ones, like the 5 and 6-year-olds, they're going to push Scotty in. You know what I mean? And you can already see it. They're they're probably behind a chair going, we're going to get Scotty because he just got someone. You know, you've been to a swimming party. You know how these things go. So when they get behind him, and everybody sees this. Everybody but Scotty. Everybody saw it but Scotty. Well, not only did they push Scotty in the water, as they're pushing him in the water, they didn't let go. And, you know, my first thing I thought when I was reading this was, oh, crap, they went in after him. No, that's not it. Scotty went in. But in these boys' little hands were his swim trunks. Yes, that's pretty much what happened. Guess what Scotty never did again? Scotty never pushed somebody back in the pool, because guess why? Because his dang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang was wang-a-wang-a-wang-a-wang. And I don't know, maybe it wasn't impressive, it embarrassed him. Maybe it was cold, you know? So, Sissy, you know you sent Uncle Scotty in, and you let Uncle Scotty know. If I ever see him, I might push him in anyway. You know what I mean? Just for old time's sakes. So, Scotty, get your head out of your ass. Well, this last weekend, I got to go up to Missouri, where I'm from, around Springfield, Missouri, and Forsyth, because I had a daycare baby he's 6. So he was having a party at this really cool place called Fritz Adventure in Branson. If you haven't been, it might cost you to go. No, it's going to cost you to go. But man, You can run and play even without zip lining, and then you can harness up and zip line to the top of the building. Very cool. But anyway, I took my number one fan, my D-man, and Isabel and my Evan. We went to the party. Not only did I get to see a lot of my daycare babies, I just love them so much. And the only ones that are probably going to ever listen to this podcast at this moment are Dima, because it is got some words in it, but he's 13, he's smart. But anyway, I wanted to tell you a story about Dima. Yes, Dima, I met him when he was about 2 months old, I'm pretty sure. When they walked in for me to take care of him at my daycare. And I sure do love that little boy. Of course, his mom's my best friend. And then Isabel is one of my favorites too, his little sister. Anyway, so we went to this place, and Evan was really nice. And it was almost $70 more for Dima and I just to harness up. The daycare parent was paying for the party man. So I told you it's kind of pricey. Anyway. So Dima's not sure if he's really scared of heights. He's, that person that might be, I'm not sure. He's been testing it. And at 13, he's testing it. So we harnessed up and we went up the first flight, which was a lot because my knees are bone on bone. I'm old as fuck, and they didn't really like those, but they did like the rest of it, So we walked up, and I walked up another side of flares. We're probably maybe 3 stories up by now. And I start walking up to the 4th one, and he says, I'm not going up there. And I was like, that is pushing it. I meant to get your harness on and go up there and go all the way up. That's a Donna thing, not a Dima thing. And that's okay. Donna's full crazy. Dima's already learning how to be crazy. So it's okay. So we go back down, and he does really good. And he wasn't sure he wanted to do it, but he did it. And me knowing him so well, I knew what he was thinking. So before he do anything, I did tell him, don't worry, Dima. I will never, ever hold us paying this money and you never doing anything in the harness over your head for the rest of your life. Because I wouldn't do something like that. Okay, maybe I would. But anyway, I still don't want to pressure him into going. Just because we paid doesn't mean you have to. You know what I mean? That boy rocked it. And did he not only rock it, and then we go upstairs and he rocked it more? We went up, like way up. There was like a zip line. And this zip line, when you go zip lining, a lot of times you just have no choice. You can't turn around. You have to go forward. You know what I mean? Once you get there, it's like skydiving. Once you're jumping out, there ain't no backing out. You know what I mean? So I did it. And normally I do have a problem jumping off things, but if I know I'm harnessed, I don't have such a big problem. So normally I would have jumped off, turned around, but I wanted to do it pretty plain because he was right behind me. So I did it, and I turned around and looked at him, and then I could not believe it. This 13-year-old boy, he had the look of fear on his face. And don't get me wrong, I know this boy. And he walks to the edge, and you have to jump off. You have to jump off. They don't help you. I said if I ever skydive, I might somebody to kick me out as I'm crying. You know what? They're going to let you turn around and walk back because you're all hooked up. This isn't your average zip lining. And it's only maybe 40 feet. It's not even that far. But it's over cement. And people walking, and kids playing, and metal. And I'm sorry, but it is kind of, my tummy was a little butterflied over it. And I'm one that wants to skydive. So if you want to pay for me to skydive or take me up, just send the email to Thank God You're Not My Child podcast at yahoo.com. And I'd be happy to skydive with you on your dime. So that boy with fear in his eyes jumped off this little ramp, and he let that harness take care of him. And about halfway over, I saw a little bit of the stress leaving. And when he got over there, the look on his face was almost like, I can't believe I fucking did that. And of course, I'm like arms up, screaming, you did it! Oh, you did it! Because I knew how hard that was for him. And you know what? Next time, I might get him to do more. Next time, I might get Izzy up there to zipline. Or maybe even Evan. So I just wanted to tell you a little story about my D. He is my #1 fan. I'm just sorry, guys, if you want to beat him as my #1 fan. First of all, to my son that said, hold on, I thought I was your #1 fan. How many episodes have you listened to, Buttercup? You know, have you listened to all of my episodes? Have you emailed me and asked me for a sticker? Have you done any of this, Mr. Justin Boy? No, E-Man did. So, I think I have probably told you more than I know. So, remember, email me stories at thankgodyournotmychild podcast@yahoo.com. Same place Tiffany and Amber did. And whoever shot their Uncle Scotty under the ding, yeah, he wiggling into the pool. Thank you for emailing him here. And D, thanks for ziplining with me. I'm still sore, by the way, and it's Wednesday. At 13, you're not, I'm sure. Anyway, until next time, thank God you're not my child.